What's up, people? We are back here with another episode of Ray Grady's Alpha Nation, man. I'm excited to have the brother here. To me, he's a legend, and a lot of people don't know him, but in the comedy world, we respect the shit out of him. Legendary from Philly, one and only, Mr. Louis Dix. I had to have you come down and do Alpha Nation.
Thank you, man. It's always nice when somebody drops out and I can fill in. I'm not mad at that. I'll take anybody hand me up, so I ain't mad.
This is what I said. So when I put the list down, Jeff Brown, Speedy, Earthquake, I had to get you. You know why? Because when we did Spike's Room, and I never forget how you kind of move different than the other OGs. You just come in to yourself, watch a little bit who you want to watch, and then you'll dip off, and then you'll leave. And then I remember when I came to Spike's birthday show, and you just kind of had that demeanor like, shorty get it, meaning like me. And you was like, yo, man, you a funny dude. And I'm like, nigga, I know who you are, but I'm not going to tell you I know who you are. I'm like, appreciate OG, but I'm like, nigga, that's Louis Dix. And the reason why I wanted to reach out to a lot of the OGs, because I think niggas don't like to pay homage when they start to, to ascend. And I always was like, to me, that's not how you get love, to me. So when you see the Said, you see the DL, yourself, cats has been doing it 25, 30 years, the least you can do is be respectful. And I think that's where Grady come in, because I give niggas their props, but I make niggas respect who I am.
Right.
Oh, if I give it to, that's Louis Dix, move out the way, get out the way, leave him alone, you'll be like, hey man, shorty cool. Hey Grady, when next time you going up? You know what I'm saying? Because I think that was always the thing. Man, when I text you like, yo man, I got the theater in Inglewood.
Right.
I just wanted you to come.
Right.
Because I was going to put you with John Sally. You know what I'm saying? And John Sally, we got to talk, Sally.
Yeah, he used to think he was a comic, but he learned.
That's why he do? Is that why he talk comedy?
Yeah, because he tried, a few cats tried to take that mic, and then that mic said it's not for you, but John's always been respectful.
Yes, sir.
Like Bentley Evans. He
Right.
He tried early to do comedy, but he realized, like Rusty Cundiff, a lot of cats who made the choice that they're going to direct and do something else, I can totally respect. Because John's funny and his,
Wait a minute, you talking about Rusty, the showrunner?
Yes. Rusty Cundiff.
He was with us?
Yeah, he was a stand-up.
Oh,
Rusty
man. Salute to Rusty, man. Because he had, I did a couple episodes on Love That Girl. And he was the guy, and it was funny because I didn't know, like, you got to hurry up. Right. So I'm not used to a nigga telling me what to do. Hey, you about to go on set and get ready, and then motherfuckers like, run. So Tiff, she like, get your ass out the room and get on, get to set. I'm like, oh, all right, here I come. They want me to change, and I'm like, what? I'm not changing in front of these niggas. I don't know these niggas. So it was funny. And then Rusty came over, he's like, hey man, come on, G. And then he just had that old soul with him. He's like, hey man, cut this shit out. Hurry, get you ready, brother?
Yeah, Rusty.
He had the little mic from the earpiece, so I didn't know he was a comic.
he was in that fight with a lot of the great ones. He had a routine that everyone respected.
Really?
That he was light skinned, so he couldn't take too many of the punches. When I see him, but and it was somebody else. There's a few cats that made conscious choice that, all right, I love doing stand-up, and I got to do this. Like Robert Townsend had to get back.
Native.
Like he did it. I went to see his one-man show, and we communicate. Like I communicate with a lot of cats, like on Father's Day, just to say shout them out. But you got to pick and choose who's going to be your friend, because we crazy people. We only got so many people that we roll with. Because we just, especially with our ego and who we are, we just like, all right, I don't mess with him that way because.
Is that ego?
It's. I don't know so much ego, it's a reality of being a man.
I think because even when, put it like this, I don't know how at that time people put that moniker, this is, Louis Dix is this type of comic, right? So I've heard one agent, she says, Grady's a male chauvinist. Right. And I said, wait a minute, I have 3 boys, I'm a daddy.
Right.
Fuck chauvinist shit. I'm not doing it. I'm just not them niggas. I just don't say, give it up for the ladies. Right. Fuck them broads. Right. They ain't having a good time. Treat them regular.
Well, they look at us, and this is just how they've set it up.
Okay.
When they say to you, like Cicely Tyson said this, that some white reporter said that he didn't really understand Sounder until he heard Kevin Hooks say daddy.
Oh, wow.
Because they don't see us as daddy. Their definition of not in his home. That's why even when you have a son that goes to a school, you have to show up.
Yes,
and people look at you like, who are you?
Who are you?
And all the black kids look up like, I wish my daddy would come.
Real shit.
And you have to establish that, no, his father's in his life because everybody else tries to raise him. And you have to say, no, he's got the love part.
Yeah.
I just need you to teach him the academics.
That's it.
So back off. And that's why, like, some kids, there's a guy named Jamal Adams who coaches at Loyola. He's moving on. His staff is brothers with bow ties. He went to Columbia. So he's a great coach. So whenever...
In Chicago? Columbia?
No, he's not. Yeah, in Chicago, in New York.
Okay.
So what happens is whenever a kid comes to me who is looking for a school, because I coach at Harvard Westlake, which is... So I always tell them, if the daddy's in his life, cool, he can come to Harvard Westlake and navigate it. But if not, he probably should go to Jamal, which is an all-boys school at Loyola, because he'll have that firmness and that, so where he won't be able to play games. Because even with my kids being in private school, a lot of the white teachers feel that their job is to help them, or because anytime, as a black child, they think he has to be tested because he listens differently. True. Well, he doesn't, because you get a lot of coaches that say, especially white coaches, hey, look at me when I'm talking to you. And black coaches, he's listening to me. He's just, I don't have to have him look at me. Right. But that's their deep slave thing that they bring to they do it unconsciously. They don't realize they do it. Because they've watched the same movies we watched. They grew up on the same sitcoms, the same stereotypes they heard. They just heard it a lot clearer in their house, and they thought it was right. So you have to constantly pull the coattail. That's what I do when I coach freshman basketball and JV freshmen. The black kids that come through, and a lot of celebrities kids come through there, and they're privileged. But I have to pull them aside. I'm like, hey, you need a haircut. Nobody gonna tell them that. Your hair's nappy. It's like, who are you talking to? Like, you need some lotion.
Yeah.
That stuff they not hearing. So their hygiene, man, you stink.
Yeah.
They don't think that. You have to pull their coattail, and you have to, even their little daughters. You're like, hey girl, how you dressing? What's wrong with you? Like, you even see a little black boy who will let the little white boy jump on him and kick him, and I have to pull the boy aside and say, come here, man. It's fun for him to kick you now in 6th grade, but when you get to 10th grade, you're not gonna want him to kick you. And then when you hit him back, you're gonna get kicked out of the school. So stop it now.
Real shit.
So it's the same thing with comics. We're so territorial, which we have to be. Because when we walk on stage, it's just us. You have to have all that, or you won't survive. Just like an athlete, you're not going. If you had an open shot, you're going to take the shot, or you're going to pass. If you pass as a black athlete, you're scared to shoot. If you pass as a white athlete, you're making the right play.
Damn.
So same thing with comics. If you watch a comic and you like, when I watched you, I was like, the first thing I always look at a comic, I'm like, can he fight? Because otherwise he's faking it. So when you look at, you're like, all right, like I like Del Rey, but I don't think he can fight.
You talking about D-Ray?
D-Ray, yeah.
I'm like, who in the hell is Del Rey? I was saying, you were saying, I'm trying to figure out.
I don't think he can fight. Corey Holcomb probably can fight, but if you get him, he gonna click. I think his chin is light. But it's just certain guys. So I look at you, I was like, all right, he look like he can fight. He look like he ain't gonna swing until you tell him let's swing. Let's have a fair one. So you go like, who has a fair one? So you measure him up like that. Like, all right, can he fight? All right, da-da-da. What kind of guy is he? And then it's basically what he says about other people when they're gone.
Okay.
Like, you have enough heart to say that in his face. Mm-hmm. And I've seen cats get jammed up, and I'm like, okay, he can't even say it in front of his face. I know what you're saying about me.
Put it like this. If you go to the tournament, I think all the cats that's watching right now, when you say a cat is talking loud and like, let's fight, I think if the loudest nigga in the room, he the soft nigga.
Yeah.
So if you're not gonna say, nigga, let's get busy around the building.
Right.
Not
in front of everybody, right. Let's go behind there, just you and I.
Yeah, nobody needs to hear it though.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. We don't need to discuss that me and you about to, about to show.
Yeah.
Now, whatever happens, happens. And if you bigger than me, I'm not finna sit up there and brawl with you.
No.
I'm gonna make your ass right in the chest and then wear your dyke ass out.
Yeah, I'm getting that knee.
You too big. You too
that
big to be
kneecap.
wrestling because I'm an elusive little nigga.
Or I'm just going to totally ignore you and not be in your space. Because I don't need to take no L. I got stuff that I need.
Or when you get in the car,
Yeah.
Right? And then, like, oh, that's...
Yeah, but hopefully you reach a point in your life, in your profession to say, I don't need that.
No.
I got too many, I got... One thing you always got to do is have your boy with you who's going to watch your back. Like, my boy is Jeff Arnold, so I know... he's a comic from Chicago.
Really?
Yeah, he got glasses, but when he takes his glasses off, he's cocky.
Wait a minute. Dark skin?
Yeah, dark skin.
Don't talk much?
Yeah. So he's...
I know who he is. He's be at the J spot.
Yes. Yeah. So my thing is like he's got my back 24/7. Because he knows the soft side of me.
Okay.
Like, hey, your boy's got to know the soft side of you.
Yeah.
Like, that's not like either you weak around women, or a fine light-skinned girl going, I know what you gonna do. You gonna buy her too many drinks.
You gonna pander.
Yeah. So come on, man. Don't give her that. Don't give her that lunch money.
Like, got you. And you know what though? It's funny because I think just to hear you from Philly, and a lot of salute to all of Philly, you're not even Muslim.
No.
Right? So when I went to Philly, I was, North Philly?
Yeah.
Area Avenue and all that shit with the Eagles Bar and all that and Gerard and all that. I'm gonna go to Philly, when I used to, hit the road pretty tough. The good thing about that is you can go anywhere and you ain't gotta tell a nigga you real. They'll feel it.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why I like the road.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be in LA if I didn't do well in New York or Atlanta.
Right.
Or wherever parts unknown, whatever, I was just to go and then to come to this motherfucker. You gotta be able to know, first of all, I'm cool with knowing the bylaws of the streets. You know what I'm saying? I remember I couldn't wear white t-shirts at the J spot. And man, Mr. Brown to say, hey man, you gotta get a sport coat or a hoodie or something, because the Mexicans was, at war with the niggas out here. You know what I'm saying? It was weird shit. But then when you get down to stand up, laughter bridges everybody. That's when when people say comics or urban comic or he's a white comic, like, nah, nigga, funny should be funny.
Yeah.
It's just me and you both know, G, the clean comics, the world is dirty.
Right.
So what the fuck are you talking about clean for?
Right.
But then the world is dirty. I don't get it.
Yeah.
So when you say, not you, but when you say you watch a comic, you be like, well, first of all, I want to know if he can fight.
Right.
I never heard that. 20 years been telling jokes.
Yeah.
But then when you get a cat that'll be like, how does he write? How does he think? Because some people would say, if a cat is clever at writing, that means his material is genius. Like, no, nigga, comedy ain't about clever writing.
Right.
Funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I look at it as being biographical.
Am I wrong? Or?
No, I agree with you. I just think, I take it to the point of, whenever I look at comic, is he being biographical?
Okay.
Because that's how you know you can be your own person. It starts where I'm from here.
Okay.
Now, I do this. My like whenever I tell a comic who's writing something, where you from, your family, your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, school, your friends you grew up with, that's your set. That's how you build that set. What you believe in, what you don't believe in. Now you've created your own set for yourself. I do a joke about my mom, do a joke about my dad, I do a joke about how they raised me, I do a joke about my sister, what we went through, then I do a joke about how good I was in school or how smart I was, my favorite subject, my favorite toothpaste, what got me in trouble, my relationships with a girl, if I'm married, if I'm not married, divorced. So now what that does, it allows you to say, all right, I can hone me into this. So when whoever's creating, because that's the first thing you learn, I learned out here, was the producers who are watching you are figuring out, how can I build this sitcom around this guy?
Okay.
And they build it around the stories you tell them. Like, all right, so Grady he probably loves his beard. So hopefully you're doing a joke about how much you love your beard and the first time you grew your beard.
All right.
Now, the white boys who are writing this, normally that's who it is going to write a sitcom, is going to write around that Brady got his first beard at 12, even though he looked like he was 50.
Right.
All right, so, and then you would come in and say, no, put it around here.
Gotcha.
Like Dr. Cosby taught me this thing about, he said, because we're so smart as comics, any writers can write structurally, but I know I'm going to put the funny in it. So he said what he did was, in his sitcom, he got an extra $200,000 a week for his ad libs. So you put that in your contract. Because I know I'm going to ad lib, so My manager,
Yes.
listen, you need to negotiate that I get 50,000 extra week because when I throw something out there, y'all gonna write it down, and put it on the script. So why shouldn't I get that bank? It's my comedy.
It's business.
So you learn that these little tricks. So you say, all right, and eventually I want to direct in the second season because I'm gonna get older. I want to direct, and that's what I want to do because now I know I got power of how I want to structure this.
Gee, shit.
So you figure that kind of stuff out, business, because it's show business. But you got to take care of your show part, which is when I walk away, how do they see Grady? Or how do they see Louis Dix? Because my main thing when I first was like, all right, I don't want to be like everybody else. Okay. And because Dr. Cosby gave Don Reed and I'm sure other comics this advice, Don Reed was known for his kung fu karate bit.
Yeah. No.
So, right, and I was everybody had to be known for some bit. Like mine was a McDonald's bit. So
okay.
He said, listen, you guys need to stop doing that bit because you're going to be known as the guy that does the kung fu or the McDonald's guy. He said, you don't want him to, you want him to say your name, who's the comic.
Damn.
Now, even though he always did the dentist bit every show, because that was his calling.
Okay.
But that was his generation. But he was known as Dr. Bill Cosby or Seinfeld. So your thing is like, I want them to say my name. So it identifies me as a comic or an actor. Like Dave Chappelle. That's why he can market Dave Chappelle with the C and everything.
Yeah.
So your thing is like, how do I market my name and my initials? So if I get to a point, all I got to do is wear a C. Gotcha. Everything I got on, so that's my trademark. So if I'm going to have my hat this way, then I got to have a story so tight that any image they put, they know that's me.
So let me ask you, how long you been doing stand-up, OG?
I started in 1989. I think I won the Bay Area Black Comedy Competition. But what happened was I came down to LA as an actor, and I was tripping and saying that these actors are going to starve. And I had taken some comedy courses in college with Rob Becker, who ended up doing The Caveman. He was on Broadway. So I learned how to take the mic, put it in the back, do certain things, jokes on three. So I learned the structure of comedy. Right. And I grew up listening to Richard Pryor because I love dirty comedy.
Okay.
And then I decided I got to the Comedy Act Theater watching all these black funny comics, and I was like, it's a lot of Martin and all them, Tommy Davis, they funny, they dirty. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get in the clean line, because it was only Dr. Cosby and Sinbad. So I figured.
Dr. Cosby and Sinbad, as far as black.
Yeah, as far as black, who was doing clean comedy, family comedy. So I said, well, I'll get their hammy-ups. So anything they don't do, hopefully it'll trickle down to me.
Okay.
And then I met a guy named Thad Mumford, who said, you should think about doing television warm-ups. And I didn't know what that was. So I was like, all right. So I did an acting gig on the show Amen. And the guy told me, one of the crew guys said, I was like, well, who's that? He said, that's Ray Combs, who used to host Family Feud.
Okay.
Said, he's the best warm-up ever. And I was like, well, that's the best. You know how we think, like, I'm taking this. This is the best. I got this. Yeah. So I went down, and Don Reed got a gig. He was doing warm-up first. First Sinbad was, and Dr. Cosby put Sinbad on A Different World. Then he took Don Reed and put him on The Cosby Show. So I got the call to do warm-up for A Different World. Now, I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew theater because that was my major. So when my jokes wasn't flying, I would do technical stuff. Like this camera's this camera's that, just to fill time. And you had to do like 2 hours, 3 hours. You do like
a day.
No, for the show. Then we were doing two shows. You do a 4 o'clock show and a 6 o'clock show. The 4 o'clock show was you do 2 scenes, you move on. But the 6 o'clock show would go for like 3 hours because they have to keep redoing the scene. So you just had to keep your energy and talk about anything, which I was good at anyway. Just give, like, hey, this red coat, man, I'll tell you about red coats. I love red coats, and do a thing. Yeah. Then the bell would ring, you'd have to stop and then set up the scene. So we would do a 4 o'clock show and a 6 o'clock show. 4 o'clock show would be real fast, and the 6 o'clock show would take 2 or 3 hours. So you just had to have the gift of gab and moving. But the thing that got me was how much you were getting paid. You were getting benefits. So I was a young comic, and you know, the main thing is having money to pay your bills.
That's it.
Then you can do comedy a little freer. So once I locked that in, and I told my manager, I was like, listen, we're gonna be the best at warm-up, so we always have a gig. So I started doing a bunch of shows, and like now, push come 30 years later, you're making $4,000 to $5,000 a show. So the white boys make what they make, but I'm like, all right, this way I was able to pay for my family, have benefits, which is the main thing as an artist,
Real
is
shit.
have benefits.
Yeah.
So you just got to learn what you're going to sell and how you're going to sell it and put yourself in a position to go forward with it. You know?
Man, see, that's what happened when you have OGs that actually is not afraid to kick game and give you knowledge and, you know, just kind of just give you the guidance that you need. You know, I'm 20 years in. I'll be 20 years in OG in October. All right, so you already, you done already reached your 20 mark.
What's been your toughest transition? And I know you're going to shoot, but I don't know how to.
You shoot?
No, my dad shoots, but I can pretend like I'm.
So this what we do. This what we do. Since you the guest, I always let the guest breaks.
Damn.
Right? Because why not? Shit, this is Alpha Nation. It ain't, and I play ball in hand. So ball in hand is if you miss your object ball, then the I get to place the ball anywhere and the same go for me.
So I got.
So you know, some people would always like, this is where you breaking from. Mm-hmm. You break that up, and then you be like, all right, I'm gonna shoot the 2 over here, and let's say the cue ball totally misses the 2 ball. Mm-hmm. That's ball in hand, so I get to put the ball wherever, and vice versa.
All right, sound like some Chicago stuff, but I ain't mad at you.
Nah, that's real shit.
All right. Oh shit.
Don't worry about it. That happens.
All right. Damn.
So, I think my biggest hang up is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
You was asking me? I think mine, OG, is I like people workers. I like you to work. If you're gonna be around Grady, you can't do the lazy shit with me. Mm-hmm. So any agent, if I see the agent, I don't care if he's with the top 10 or he a boutique motherfucker. I like to see your ass working. Mm-hmm. Communication, that's it. So an agent, I had a couple of meetings where I met with like Gersh, and I met with Innovative. I just didn't feel their energy. And see, I'm the type of dude, I'm gonna outwork you. Mm-hmm. This is the reason why I can do Alpha Nation. So when I say, okay, Ray Grady is coming to Detroit, Alpha Nation only had, what, 1,200 people as subscribers? Now I'm over 10,000 now. Mm-hmm. I don't even worry about these motherfuckers. You just push it. So when they see Alpha Nation, or they see the Alpha Male of Comedy, everybody know that's Ray Grady. Everybody know it. It's certified. It's stamped. So just being the dude that actually go book his own theater or book my own venue. I don't need the agency because he's not going to work. I'm going to do everything, and then I'm going to give him a 10% commission to do what? You got to outwork me. So if you're not working, I don't really want to fuck with you because you have a roster of talent that pays your bills. You're not fucking worried about no Ray Grady. So I have to make sure I get my negotiation shit together. So when I can tell a nigga like, nah, I get 100% of the gate. Not you go get it.
But
you know what I mean?
Like, cause I know my generation, that's something that we're scared of. Like your new generation, like you guys, like were you worried about, what were you worried about? Cause like our thing is, we punks when it comes to that. We'd rather be on that label and all that so we can say, hey, I'm with Innovative Art. But you like, no, this is what I want to do. What gave you that strength?
Okay, I watched a lot of the OGs. I watched Quake, you, Corey, Bill Bellamy, DL, Mike. I watched every dude that done it before me. Grady has watched them. Mm-hmm. When I saw you in a different world acting and fighting and shit with the little scene down in the pit, I really watched it. That's Louis Dix, you know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of comics are they're not students. See, I'm trying to become a pioneer in this shit. Mm-hmm. So I'm not trying to chase the fame. I have 3 sons. I've already done it already. I'm a daddy already. I already been married. I done lived in the most expensive cities in the nation. Atlanta's expensive, mm-hmm. New York, and this piece of shit. Chicago, that piece of shit. I done lived everywhere, right? So when I see that you cats like, well, damn, how come he's not writing on the show? How come he isn't producing? How come he isn't directing? Now, salute to Roy L. Watkins for getting busy with the Little Rail and Kevin and, you know, a couple things. So salute to that, right? But I think when I start watching you older cats not really take real risk and be like, we're the talent. If Louis Dix, you've been doing acting and what we call you the king of warm-up. Like that's a class, that's a skill set, right? And then if I said, okay, if you've been doing it and you've been around, you worked for Bill Cosby for years. I would be a fool not to even sit and just, whatever knowledge you're willing to give, I'm finna take it. Now, that doesn't mean that I have to use it against you. Mm-hmm. What I do is just say, okay, OG, this is another way. There's another way to go about doing this shit, because right now my biggest goal is to get a club, a chain of comedy clubs. I'm sick of these white boys getting all the licks, and then they give us nothing. So now when we say, okay, this is what we can do, get the money, but how we get the money, this is what we do with getting the money. Learn how to talk and negotiate. What do you really want? What is it going to benefit? So if I said, okay, if you go to Helium and you from Philly, how come you're not headlining Helium? Right. How come you're not headlining Zanies? How come you're not headlining nowhere? You mean to tell me? Don't nobody know who Louis Dix is? So I think the cool part about wanting to become an entrepreneur, that's the goal, OG. Because remember, when you have a brick and mortar and it's black owned, and me and you both know this. When you go to the white clubs, the white boys get the, like you said, for their weekend, they give the white boys $7,500. Mm-hmm. The black dude got to do 10 shows for $1,200. Right. Yeah. For the improv. So I said, okay, let me find out what I'm good at. I'm good at people. I went to culinary school and I'm funny. And I know my place. Now, let's put it all together. What do we do? How do you want, the people is going to pay your way of living, my way of living, his way of living, everybody's way of living. Mm-hmm. You deal with people. What happens is cats dealt with fucking with the brand. Okay, so if you heard of Russell Peters, right? Right. Russell Peters was backed by a billionaire family. That's why he's worth 80 million now. Mm-hmm. Business. Fuck all the popularity shit. Get to the business. So I said, I went to an agent. They just didn't have the work ethic that I like to see, as well as the communication with the talent. Because when you know the cat, you remember Ends? Mm-hmm. He told me he said, I'm too real to get on Comedy Central. Once I got Comedy Central, when Kevin put that bread up, I went straight to the union. Didn't I tell you, stop talking about shit you don't know nothing about, OG? Mm-hmm. You supposed to be helping niggas. That's what's wrong with niggas. Because niggas will be like, I've been there and done that. No, you struggling because you talk too much. You're not really throwing nothing. Like Quake, he'll reach back and be like, let me show you what to do. Kevin, reach back and say, let me just give new opportunities, right? Somebody like Louis Dix, that's a workshop. Right. You could charge $50, $100 just to do the warm-up workshop, and they coming to see Louis Dix.
David Arnold does. No, I'm just kidding.
But I'm saying, whatever the expertise is, you're still an expert, OG. Right. You can still perform and then be like, damn, Louis Dix still got it, right? So I think my hiccup is I just don't trust them. And then I went to Skid Row, and I just seen all these broken promises. I just look at all these dope fiend ass niggas. I'm like, oh, these niggas got their feelings hurt in Los Angeles. They always lied too. Okay, that ain't gonna be Grady. So now I just take it by the reins, and you start small. And being with a conglomerate, you'll get lost. Right. You get lost.
And that's what we see. The old cats. We see you got you young boys just
open table.
So now
you can shoot whatever you want.
Damn. I don't know how my dad made a living on this. I don't know how my dad made a living.
It's really stay low on the concentration side. You see, I already tell you, you shoot too high up. You gotta get low down with that thing. So you pick one.
Oh, I was supposed to tell you which one?
Don't matter.
Oh, now I can.
Yeah, you can pick.
Okay, all right. I feel like I'm in school.
Want me to give you the secret of the pool? Get low on the shot.
Okay.
Take your time.
See, that's the funny thing about being old. Like, I don't need to learn that, but all right, it's.
Now, I don't have I got the 10 ball. But I think just, when you cats, the Sinbads, the Martins, we watch you, right? Because I would be a fool somebody had asked me when I did Comic View 2014, when they had Samoa as the host. They said, who was your favorite comic? I said, none. My daddy is probably the funniest person I ever met, right? And this BET, they took like, what the hell you mean? Like, I'm not going to say the people that I'm going to name, you don't recognize them no way.
Right.
So the lady said, well, who? I said, Mom's Mabley, Godfrey Cambridge, Picnic Markham. You know these people? Lenny Bruce. No. I said, exactly.
Right.
I'm a student.
Right.
I'm not like them. And I made sure I said it all the comics heard. Mm-hmm. I'm like them niggas. They want the light.
Right.
I want to make sure that we can really build a nation with this shit.
And that's separating yourself, because that's the key, I think, when you look at young boys, like, is he separating himself to carry on the voice?
Yeah.
And that's what I like. That's what I like. Whenever I see the young boys, just when I watch them, and that's interesting. You're talking about that, because at the comedy clubs, the comedy club owner, especially the black ones, always think they know, even though they just want to be on stage. Mm-hmm. They think they can tell you what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and you be like, just tell me some truth.
Right?
Like, tell me some truth and I can work through that.
Yes, sir.
Don't tell me something you need me to do just to satisfy you because somebody else didn't listen to you. And everybody's hustling. That's the thing about this business in LA. Like, everybody's hustling, and I get that. You're supposed to hustle, but it's the thing about understanding, like, because even Dr. Cosby told me study Sinbad. Like, Sinbad's always been a person that I just sit and listen to. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'll listen to anybody. You know, I'll just, you know, certain things. I watch PBS all the time. Just even little animals, like Ellen DeGeneres. I was watching her special. She was doing a bit on ants, because I was like, okay, that's you gotta be a bad, you know. So I'm like,
about ants. I bet you it was funny.
It was funny.
She's funny though.
Whenever something topical happens,
Ellen DeGeneres is funny as shit.
I look at if I see a group of comics, I'm like, all right, everybody's talking about subject A. I'm like, who's talking about subject E? I'm gonna get on that. I'm gonna put the work in on subject E. You know, like I had to find, like you have to find different levels. Like when you first start off, everybody talks about the dating, sex, drugs. Then when you get married.
Do them jokes though.
Right. You start talking about getting married and your family, and then, like, I realized years ago that this whole gay movement was coming. And
you say you realized?
Oh yeah, I saw it. You could see it, especially being in show business. You could see it. You know, you're like, all right, this dude rubbing my back way too much. I can't let him get to the small of my back, you know, because you got to play that business like he's rubbing my shoulders, I'm good. Then they work their way down to your small of your back. And you're like, all right, I want to talk about this stuff, because growing up in Philly, my generation, we said all these rude things about gay people. And then what happened was it walked into my house. Like my daughter, you know, she's like, Dad, can we go to dinner? I was like, yeah. So she's like, and she didn't tell Mom. I'm like, what's the deal? She's like, I'm just letting you know, she was a sophomore in college, I'm dating a girl. So I'm like, and the first thing she said, I got quiet, and she said, Dad, just tell me how you feel. I was like, as long as it's not your brother, we cool. Because you can bounce back.
I'm about to get the fuck out of here.
Your brother can't. So, you know, I was just trying to be light. And then I told her, I said, on the serious part, Peyton, you have to realize this is new for you. So when you start dating girls that are serious about it, you don't want to get hurt. So just treat it with respect, you know. So then that's when I had to go take a step back, and I was like, why aren't you gonna tell your mom? Because and the reason she didn't tell her mom, she said, because her grandmother is gay. And my ex never dealt with that. She never dealt with that.
So is she the lady gay? Or
well, see, that's the stuff that she was, my daughter? Yeah. Oh, well, I figured out. Because when her partner came out to visit, Mom and I were like watching, like, all right, because I said, all right, which one you think she is? She's a girl or the guy? Because I had to joke about how I was going to say, you got to be the boy in the relationship because I ain't paying for the wedding. So you be the girl. So I was like, we were watching, and then I'm like, I start seeing the girl, her partner Laurel, start opening doors for her, holding her hand. So I was like, all right, our daughter's the girl. And then I finally asked.
You're not paying for the wedding, OG?
Yeah. I asked my daughter, I said, finally you get more comfortable. She said, I said, so, because I said, y'all gonna have children? And she's like, yeah. I said, so are you, she said, yeah, I said, are you gonna ask her to marry? Or she said, no, she gotta ask me. I said, oh, so you're the girl? I said, hell yeah, Dad. So I was like, okay. So then I had to start working on my pronouns, you know, because I had a source. And then I said, cool, I have a source now. Now I can start talking about this in my comedy from my perspective, and I'm not going to offend because I'm coming from my realness and my respect. And the gay people would come up to me and say, oh man, tell your daughter that it's okay to da-da-da. And my daughter, to the point where my son, because I thought, you think your son, everybody thinks, if you have a son, when he's 9 or 10, you're like, man, he's soft, he's gay.
Yeah.
So you got to ask the mom.
Like, I was glad my son, my middle boy, was in the street shit.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I'm saying.
I was glad.
I know. I had to be honest that I was more apt to receive my daughter being gay than I would my son. If I'm going to be honest. Now, if he came and said he was gay, I would have dealt with it.
Right.
But it would have been a different dealing with it. Because you look at it, it's got to be just like mom is dealing with it because she feels she's got to deal with it a different way.
Right.
That's her baby girl. Will she ever, not mistakes, but how did I encourage that? Like my son, like it was important for me that he dated black girls. He was in this white environment, but he went to Morehouse. So as soon as he chose Morehouse, we were like, yep, he's going to come back with a sister. So we good. And we laughed because her girl is Italian. So we was like,
they don't even like black people.
But
in the movies.
Right. And Laurel's cool because, and my daughter's partner, I had better conversation with her about the whole gay thing than my daughter. My daughter, and I asked my son, I was like, why is your sister always tripping when I ask her? Because Dad, she's still trying to figure out
if this is what she gonna really do.
Or if this is how because these young people are figuring out how they can present themselves to this ignorant ass world. And so more of the ignorance is with your parents, because who do you see as most ignorant? It's your parents.
Because this is what I said, right? Having 3 boys. Mm-hmm. When I said on one of my earlier show, I said, when I see a teenager say that they're gay, the first thing I'm thinking, who the fuck touched you? Right. That's just a father nature in me.
Right.
I don't really give a shit about all that other stuff. Who touched you? Because you ain't gonna be 10 switching this shit and you're a little boy, because I'm gonna be like, okay, what happened to my nephew or my son, right? You're gonna think that. But then as I got older and started, got a couple cousins that's with it, and I just watched them. I was like, okay. Yeah,
because when it's in your house, you have to take a different look at it. Like if it's not outside your house, you're gonna be ignorant. You're gonna say what you think. But once it's someone you truly love and care about, you say, all right, I need to look at this in a 3-dimensional way. It has nothing to do with me. There's nothing bad about them. This is who they are. Do I love them? Yeah, I love you. So now my main focus is your happiness.
True.
So I don't care about who you dating, long as you're not coming in the house crying or they put their hands on you.
Okay.
So we good.
Right.
And now I got to deal with her family and how because I used to tell my daughter all the time when she was dating little boys, I'm like, listen, you're gonna be dealing with these little Hispanic boys. You can't sit at their dinner table. With a little Jewish boy, you can't sit at their dinner table because their history is not going to allow you until you have a child. Then they got to open themselves up.
That's real.
Be aware I don't want you being just a notch on these little boys' belt because you practice. I don't need you to be practiced on going down on them because your lips is full. We don't need all that. You got to find true love. So, that's just...
So wait a minute. So that's in their culture for real?
What?
That they don't accept the little black girl?
Well, from my ignorance, I don't know. I'm sure there's some progressive people out there who see things differently, but I'm looking at just like my ignorance. If a Jewish person or some other religion comes sit at our table, I know they bring in their history with them.
Right.
I know, like if I deal with a European or white person, I know they have history just like I have history. Just like I'm not going to let them use my comb because I know my comb won't fit in their hair.
No, I know they got lice. I'll be saying all types
of shit. I'm going to go buy them another comb.
Y'all got lice.
I'm like,
whatever.
The thing I always say about me now, I don't want to smell old. I feel like sometimes I'm like, I hope I'm not smelling old because, you look at your dad, you're like, you smell old, Dad. So my main thing is, but I don't want to, because smelling old is that old smell or that too much cologne. Okay. So I just want to smell like Dove soap. So, that's something that I'm dealing with. So sometimes my daughter comes around and I'm like, you smell white, Peyton. Did
you say smell white?
Yeah, and I don't know what that is.
Smell like, because in the black community, we always thought white folks, they smell like wet puppies.
Right, and I don't know what, see, that's
I
what I'm saying.
I don't know what that is.
It's certain things at home that you can say that's ignorant.
Yeah.
That's an ignorant statement.
That's an ignorant statement.
So, but I understand I'm in a safe house. I'm in my house. So
you say what you want.
And then my daughter will correct me and say, no, Dad, that's because Mom is corporate. So Mom used to come home and I used to say, you need to shower, you smell white. And I'm sure that they would say we smell like chicken or something. We smell like soul food.
Kool-Aid.
Right. I'm sure we got an odor that's our odor. You walk in your house, you recognize what we having for dinner.
That's
like, all right, it smell like spaghetti up in here. It smell like, and that's your...
Smell like stroganoff.
Right. Yeah, ravioli. So, it's like... So, those ignorant things, that's the beauty of comedy. You get to discuss what your ignorance is and try to get people to laugh at their ignorance. And the deeper you go, that's what makes people say, I want to pay to see this guy because he's not disrespecting me. That's why one word that Dr. Cosby taught me to say was, as comics, we always say, I hate something. He said, no, say you're confused. That's received better. I'm confused about why this happened. Now you can talk about it. Because if you say I hate it, then the audience member has to decide, do I hate it or do I not hate it?
Let me ask you a question, because you had said you made your earnings from mainstream rooms, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't do much stand-up until, I used to go on tour with people like Luther, the Righteous Brothers, whoever needed a clean comic. So I would go on tour, but I never really
So you paved your own way, OG?
Yeah, in a sense.
You didn't follow nobody, right?
Well, I followed Sinbad. I followed where...
I'm saying, in the sense of following, you didn't mimic everybody else because everybody else was like, let's do shows. You was like, I'm doing shows, but I'm doing live performances.
Right. I wanted to do what everyone else was doing, but I just didn't get that call. So I said, all right, let me, I got a call, because the main thing when we all first started was whoever got Luther Vandross tour, or Anita, what's her name, Anita Brown.
Around Luther?
Yeah, so it was
like
Big Luther. No, this was an interesting thing, because first Sinbad got it, then Tommy Davidson got it.
Both jeans.
So I was like, I can't wait till I get that call, because Luther only liked clean comics. You couldn't even say nigger around him. So what happened was then I finally got that call. I did 2 tours with him. So I got that call. So the first thing I had to do was call Luther at his house because he wanted me to write a joke about his weight. He said, because sometimes I'm going to walk out, I'm going to be skinny, and sometimes I'm going to walk out and be fat, and I don't want him shocked. So he said, can you write a joke about it? And I was like, yeah, that's easy. And the joke was simple that, hey, man, it doesn't matter if Luther big or small. When he come out, you women still going to go, ah! It's simple.
That's the joke?
That was the joke. And that would, it's you in front of Luther. They're going to laugh at you. If you can't...
Oh, I was going to say, that wasn't shit, OG.
No,
I was expecting you to put the Philly on.
No, you did, because he didn't want you to... You couldn't you just got to make the statement that whatever comes out. And then I would act it out like, oh, Luther. That was when Flip It, Turner Come Back Around, Flip It. Okay. That's when that was out. So I said, y'all would say, Flip It, I added that part. So that was the joke. And that set up the whole thing of when he comes out, we'll accept him big or small. And then I just watched him, like Luther taught me how you hold the microphone, because I used to watch him, I used to study him every night. And he said, and I used to talk after the show, and he said, you can't be moving the mic around. You got to hold it like it's a glass of champagne. And this way, if you never move your mic, they can't pay attention to the mic. And if you watch what we do that naturally. Either somebody will have the stand or they'll hold the mic. You very seldom move the mic. Because you don't want them looking at the mic. You just hold the mic.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, you hold. Some, like Dr. Cosby does it where his mic is so loud, he can hold it here. So he has that much volume on his mic, Some people, I like how TK Kirk does it. He has his mic wrapped around, and he just has it on wrapped around.
Yeah, the cord.
Yeah, I think that's cool as hell. I can't do that, but I've always liked how he does that.
I think sometimes I'm a rapper. You know what I mean? My shit way up here, like, get the fuck out of,
Right, but see how you hold it? You hold it, like me, I'm now older, so I will keep it in the stand if I'm at a comedy club. If I'm doing a theater, I walk and hold it. But if now, because I'm older, I just hold it and just keep it in front of me. And then hopefully you don't see it. Or I might turn when I want to do something or that. But it's just little technical things you learn that you say, all right, that's how I do it. But back to the whole thing of, and then that's how you figure out your subject matter. Like I love, because you have to, if you're older, you have to bring younger people with you. Like some older comics talk down to the young people. So I was like, no, I want to do that.
What's a version of talk down, if you don't
When
mind?
you're like, you young people are so stupid when you do things, your email and your phone, y'all need to get off your damn phones. So young people sitting there like, I hear that shit from my parents all the time. Why are you talking? I just paid to see you talk. No. So that's why you say, hey man, you young people, my kids are this way. I just love how y'all do this, but, so you pump them up. You know, man, you young people got a great future ahead, but the way we used to do things, you know, you do. So that's how you kind of lift them up. So they
looked at it like
so they cheerlead for you because they say, yeah, you remind me of my uncle and my father, but you're not talking down to me. You're telling me that I'm good to go, but look out for this. Because I'll say, like, you young people, y'all get 3 meals a day plus a snack. You know, and it's got to be a healthy snack. So then you can, you know, and he's like, y'all like Caprice, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich already made. So, you know, I said, we got, you know, like I would say child protective services for us was our grandparents.
Real shit.
You know, don't hit that boy no more. You're going to mess up his eye.
That's it,
You know, we couldn't even say what when I was growing up. Y'all talk back to your parents.
I couldn't say dang.
Yeah.
I couldn't say dang.
Yeah. So you talk about how I'm not putting down what you guys are doing. I'm looking at it. It's funny to me. I'm still going to stay in my lane. Like you see some cats they learn all the hip rap stuff. Like I don't know that song.
You don't?
No, I'm just saying, it's like I just started listening to J. Cole. Now, I like the Pride is the Devil.
He been out since like...
No, I've heard him, but look, I know there's one temptation left. So I'm going to stay in my lane. But I like J. Cole. I like that song by Let Go of My Hand.
Okay.
But that's my son listens to that. So every now and then when I'll listen to it so I can have a conversation with him. I'm like, hey man, because everybody was talking about J. Cole. So I'll say, all right, let me listen to it. I was like, all right. That's cool. And then the Pride is the Devil, R.I.P. I was like, all right, I like that.
You like that one?
I got to play it like 15 times.
To get it.
Just to get it.
Because I think, you know, even me being a comic, I think it's your shot. Or is it my shot? It's your shot.
Yeah, okay.
I think being a comic, how do you look at the social media cats?
The young comics who are in social media? All right,
we all young to you, so it don't really matter.
Hilarious.
Right? We all young to you, OG. So I'm the big boy.
I just started working on the laptop. All right.
Oh.
So and I'm proud that my screen has the Eagles on it because I'm from Philly.
Okay.
So it took me forever to do that. I got the iPhone because I take all the kids' phone once they upgrade. I take their old phone. So I'm on the iPhone 10 right now.
Oh shit.
And I've had to learn to swipe because swiping is something people over 50 don't do well. Like with the computer, I didn't realize one finger is the mouse. I didn't know you needed 2 fingers to have it go up and down, and 3 spreads it out.
Fuck me up. You heard that part? I ain't shit.
I'm trying to.
I don't know, OG. I'm
trying to figure out how people with no hands use their computer. It must be voice, because you gotta swipe. And men of my generation are used to pushing, turning, pulling.
Real shit.
We're not used to swiping.
That's
so
G shit.
It's like you gotta gauge your brain to swipe. And you know we typed. But you ever see a young person type on their phone? It's like,
well, I got a 19-year-old.
So it's amazing how fast they can do that.
Yeah, they can get busy.
So I'm realizing this is new material that's coming because I'm diving into it now.
Okay.
And naturally, as a comic, I'm going to do jokes about it. I just got to do jokes that I know will work for me and won't offend them. Because I've always been big into not offending. That's just me. I don't want to offend because I want to be liked. I got that whole stigma.
So let me ask you this question, and this is for the viewers too. When I hear a person say, "I want it to be liked," did you get what you want?
Probably not, but I'm happy with myself and who I am, but I'm trying to be consistent about what I give to the world.
Yeah.
So I have to be comfortable with what I've accomplished. Like first thing, I had to be comfortable to say that I want to be, everybody wants to be a star.
Yeah.
But my thing was, I want my peers to respect me. Like if I see Eddie Murphy, he'll come up, hey Lou, how you doing? That's good for me.
That's the best.
You know,
that's it.
It's like so I got that respect. Now, 15 years, what I'm doing now, I'm writing a show, I should have been doing 15 years ago.
Yes,
but
sir.
Being locked in and raising my kids and being a little afraid and being hesitant, not trusting my talent, it got me to here to where I'm like, it's time to trust her. You're going to be dead soon. So you might as well go ahead and go for it now.
Because I think that's a great point. Because most of the time, a lot of the old cats live off of fear, right? So,
definitely.
Right. So, I mean, even in stand-up, when cat says, you know, hey, man, pay your dues. A cat like Grady, I'm the last of, I would say, y'all's genre. Mm-hmm. I'm the last of y'all breed where the OGs come and my cats that's in my class, we know our place, right? The reason how D.L. Hughley would be like, what's up, Grady? Or Cedric Entertainment, what's up, Grady? Or you would be like, what's up, Grady? Is because I gave y'all respect. Mm-hmm. A cat, me and you would do a show, and they'll say, man, you know, my mentality isn't, shit, I was just on the show with Louis Dix. Me and Louis Dix the same person. Like, nah, nigga, I got a chance to work with Louis Dix. It's how you word it.
Right. But we say the same thing. We say, hey, man, that cat, I was working with this young cat, Grady, man. He's like, I don't see how he talks his truth. Mm-hmm. And we respect and admire that because we weren't, some of us had strength to you know, even Dave, when he's just started speaking more of his truth.
True.
You know, and more of it.
Well, I always hear tone.
Yeah. So it's like my tone is like, I feel good when I see a young cat like you speaking your truth because I'm like, I wish I could have spoke that truth. I know if I had spoke that truth, I don't know what would have happened.
Appreciate it.
But so that's why we honor guys like you when you do that. We're not going to tell everybody because again, our ego. Right. But when we sitting around, you know, saying that was a good game, after we watch your stand up, we're like, damn, he killed that. And we start saying, oh, I like how he did that. I like how he didn't care that they didn't like that joke.
Yeah.
He still stood on that joke.
Yeah.
And there's certain things we're going to stand on that we're like, I'm standing on this. But y'all stand on 10 things where we stand on 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, because I think there is no liberty in that, right? And you're not really emancipated. Like if I get on stage, OG, I don't give a shit about them people that done paid that money to see Grady. All I know is that if Isaiah pays and Pave pays or you paid or your wife paid, showtime.
Right.
Showtime. That's it. All that dumb shit you talking about ain't got nothing to do with because I'm comfortable in silence, OG. Mm-hmm. I'm comfortable because the audience is mute. That doesn't mean they're not listening. So I think a lot of the comics, you know, like Quake says, I got ADD, Grady, I got to keep going. I want to hear that laughter.
Right.
I can sit in the pocket for 45 minutes to an hour and pace, get to that shit. If I want you to laugh, you will. If I want you to listen, you will. If I want to offend you, you will. Right? Because
that's the strength. That's what Dr. Cosby talked about, not being scared of the silence.
Fuck them people.
And
they listening though, OG.
Right. Yeah, no, that's your
the real people ain't listening. They getting the fuck out of there.
Right.
Them the ones ain't listening. But if they here on the edge of your seat and they doing this and they follow you, like you say, you in the theater, you going back and forth, but you're in a comedy club and the stage is small. Louis Dix is, you know, you right here, right? So I think, to me, when you put yourself in that bubble, OG, mm-hmm. and then you said to yourself, 1989, it's 2021. You gotta go live now. You can't even give a fuck about these people, right? Learn that, what you said about the phone, put your daughter on the phone, your son on the phone, this way you listen to J. Cole, listen to another J. Cole, listen to a Kendrick, fuck it, listen to the Migos. They go, you know, the little boy Donald Glover said they the new Black Beatles. Mm-hmm. That's what rise they, you know, stock. I mean, that's what, you know, rose they stock, whatever, right? So now, look at all the info you got. I don't have 30 years of knowledge. Mm-hmm. I got experience. And hopefully I do well, right? But I think just you guys have all of that. And then just remember when Eddie Murphy had did the bringing of all the talents, when he did Harlem Nights, mm-hmm. when he did Coming to America, he let all his boys eat. You a part of that you work with, you know, Dr. Cosby. Mm-hmm. So you know what it is to take to run a show. You know, what's the other dude that would be on top of Carew? You know, all these cats. You know, all Thad, Mumford, all these dudes. Now just look at your body of work. Look at the knowledge you have. So now Cats will be like, man, that's Louis Dix. All it is, take the phone out. Now just join in what they do. It's just finding what's good for Louis Dix. Now, Louis Dix ain't gonna do funny videos, but let's just say you still not act though. Direct. Get with a motherfucker that you know that this boy got it. When people, like I said, I go back to it, when people put their money into the brand, they will lose. You buy into the person. That's where the money is at. The money is not the brand. It's the person.
But that's good that you young people have that perspective, because it's everyone can't walk down that road.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's why you're clearing up that road for yourself, and we just have to honor it and say, yeah, I like that. I get to sit back and be a fan. I get to sit back and enjoy it.
Yes, sir.
And you get to sit back and every now and then watch Hula or a rerun of Netflix and see you itself on TV like, oh yeah, look at that hairline I had. I was rolling.
Right.
So and back to your quick question about the young people and the internet comics. I'm okay with them. I'm okay with anybody that's trying to find their own self.
Yeah, because I don't really hear too much bantering from you. You know what I mean? You're the one of the OGs that be like, hey man, leave them young niggas alone. You know, they're fine. A good shot. There you go.
Yeah. No, because they just gotta. That's who they are. We all went through it, and I went through mine, and they went. You know, Robin Harris and all of them took care of us, and we learned the art, because that's the beauty. It's art.
That it is.
And so I let them do their art. You know, and I'm just happy that my children, like my daughter, has taken me to a whole nother level of understanding different things.
Yes, sir.
And helping me step out of my ignorance. And my son, who is, you know, a man with a beard and young and, you know, and smokes and does all that. And I got to like, yo, man, can you go outside, man?
Real shit.
You know, I'm like, you know, then, you know, like, Dad, I'll be back. Got to go. Whenever she say, I'll be back, I know where you're going.
Go smoke.
I'll be back.
That's
so I'm like, but I know he needs that to bring himself down from this world who's trying to get in him. I know he needs, where mine is playing chess and doing something else and working out. But I know he needs that, and I have to tell his mom that you have to understand, as a black man, he needs to decompress. He needs to get all this off of him. Because as soon as he walks out the door, he could die. So he needs to let go, where you women can go out and have your little drinks with your friends and all that. He can't do that. He got to get himself together as a man before he walks out that door and deals with everyone else who might not like him.
Thank you for coming on the show, OG. Man, legendary Louis Dix. How do they get in touch with you, OG?
Okay, yeah. Now that's social media. At LEW, at Lou Dix, LEWDIX. And I wasn't smart enough to just keep that for all of it. But that's my Instagram. Just look up Louis Dix, but make sure Louis Dix is my son too. So just look at the older pictures of me and you realize that's me. And the younger stuff with him holding a bottle or something, it's him. I'm not holding the bottle. I'm holding the kids. So thank you for having me.
Hey, my pleasure. Hey man, y'all already know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, comment. It's your boy Ray Grady, man. Salute to Pave, Cuban Leaf, Black Owned Cigar Lounge right here in Inglewood. I will see y'all next week. We out of here.